Welcome to this yoga class. We're going to spend about an hour together, and in this practice, we'll focus on the strengthening of leg muscles in varying postures and movements. And what will be useful for you is if you have a belt or a towel, two blocks, not required but possibly useful, and a blanket. Again, not required, but useful. So the one prop that would be, I would say, required in this class is the belt or a towel. When you have those things, go ahead and come lay down on your mat. Great. And as you lay down on the mat, your knees can be bent. Your feet are around hip distance apart, and you can allow the fingertips or the arms to rest along the side of the body and just bring the heels to about the fingertips. And then from there, if that feels uncomfortable, feel free to adjust a little bit further out or a little bit closer in, depending on what's feeling useful in your body right now. Once you're there, go ahead and just take a moment to become aware of the backside of your body. So, an invitation to be aware of the backside of the body and the contact points between body and the ground. So, this is always at the start of a class, a transition moment. And you may notice as you lay down that there's still tensions in the body. Maybe the breath is moving quickly or slowly. Maybe your mind feels calm today, but maybe it feels quite active. So, this is just a moment to pause for long enough to begin to become aware of how things are in your body, mind right now. You might become aware of the breath and the way that the breath flows in and the way that the breath flows out. No need at the moment to change the breath, but just noticing how the breath is. And perhaps if there's anything that you could do to gently allow the breath to lengthen, to flow more freely, so that the breath is flowing perhaps deep into the belly, and you feel the belly rise with the in breath. And with the out breath, there's this complete releasing, not pushing, just releasing, allowing everything to sink back down towards the ground. So noticing how that is in your body. And it's up to you if your eyes are closed or open. You're always free to adjust. Everything in this class is an invitation to explore. But if you find that there's pain or discomfort, or in any way notice that your body is asking for something to be modified or for you to not do something, then that's wonderful. Feel free to respect your body, to respond to it with kindness rather than forcing it into something that it's not ready for. And that's really part of the practice of yoga is, I would say, befriending the body, befriending ourselves and getting to know it, looking, listening to what's happening, and then learning to respond in wise ways, in kind ways. So as you lay here, this is perhaps the position of release, non muscular engagement. And we're going to begin to explore muscular engagement in the body. So if you have that belt, go ahead and grab the belt. Bend your right knee towards your chest. Go ahead and take the belt on the outside around the sole of the foot. And then give yourself enough lead in the belt that the upper arms can rest on the ground. The left leg extends all the way out to the ground. And there's just a gentle holding of the belt. So it's the belt at this moment that's holding the leg in the air. Enough lead in the belt that it's comfortable, right? That it's not pulling too far in. Your goal here is not to stretch as deep as you can. So the knee doesn't have to be like touching the chest, but just that the foot is in the air, sole of the foot reaching towards the ceiling or pointing towards the ceiling, not reaching yet. So it's passive. Take a couple breaths here, noticing how this feels. And then on your next exhale, begin to press the sole of the foot into the bottom of the belt. Notice how that feels in the body. And if there's a scale of like 0 to 10, where 10 is like straining as hard as you possibly can, you're probably sitting around 4 or 5. So you don't want to hurt yourself. You're just feeling engagement in the leg by pushing the sole of the foot against the bottom of the belt towards the ceiling. And then in this position, you can also explore pulling the toes towards your face. So as if your foot was on the ground, you'd be lifting your toes. And then go ahead and release the pushing of the foot and the toes so that you're back in that passive place that we started. Then we're going to do that one more time. Notice the contrast, the difference between this more passive start and then the pushing of the foot into the belt. Go ahead and push the foot into the belt and then pull the toes back. When you pull the toes back, you might notice if there's any sensations in the arch of your foot or how the sensations may or may not change in the foot, in the leg. One more breath here. And the upper arms don't have to stay in contact with the ground at this point. So for example, my leg is now relatively straight. I'm holding on to the belt and my upper arms are lifted from the ground. Good. Then go ahead and gently release that. Let the foot come all the way down to the ground, knee bent, and then extending it all the way out. And we'll explore the same thing on the left side. So you pick the left knee up, bringing it towards the chest so that you can wrap the belt around the bottom of the foot. And again, starting with that more passive, just a passive stretch. So it's the belt holding the leg up. You may notice that there's differences between this side and the other side. Our bodies are asymmetrical, so there's always some differences. And then you can begin to explore in your next exhale, allowing the sole of the foot to press into the bottom of the belt. And then drawing the toes towards the face. So again, as if you were lifting the toes if you were standing on the ground. Notice how the muscles of the leg feel as you press the sole of the foot into the belt, as if you're straightening the leg against the resistance of the belt. Toes are up and engaged. And then gently releasing back towards that more passive. Notice the difference in the muscles of the leg. We'll do that one more time. So on your next exhale, go ahead and press the sole of the foot into the belt. and then pull the toes towards the face. Feel the engagement throughout the leg, sole of the foot. Now, if you're thinking you want to get moving, don't worry, we're going to move. We're going to move a lot. But we first want to just feel what it's like to be engaging the legs versus more passively allowing the legs to just be. Go ahead and return to the more passive stretch. And then allow the foot to come all the way down to the ground for just a moment. Both knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Good, take a moment here. Notice any sensations in the legs. We're gonna do two more kind of movements here. If you have the block, go ahead and put the block between your thighs. If you don't have a block, you could put a book between your thighs or a cushion, maybe a pillow, or your blanket. You could roll your blanket up and put that between your thighs. And if you don't want to do any of that, you don't have to. You can explore the same thing, but it helps to provide a bit of a different sensation. So your block or blanket or whatever you have, or nothing, is between your legs, your thighs. Go ahead and lift the knees as if you're going to bring them towards the chest. So it's more of a 90-degree angle though. Good. And then you don't need the belt. I'm still holding mine, but you don't need it. And then go ahead and lift the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. So you have the block between your thighs and the soles of the feet are pressing towards the ceiling. The toes pull back, just like they did when you had the belt. So the feet and the legs are doing what they were doing when you had the belt, but now there's no belt and there's a block between your legs. Create the action of pressing both legs into that block. So you're squeezing the block. And then as you do that, explore if you can drive the heels a little bit more towards the ceiling. Stay here for one more breath. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bend the knees. Bring the feet back down to the ground for just a moment. Good, notice how the legs are feeling. So you are firing muscles in the front side of the legs and in the inner thighs especially. We'll do that one more time. So go ahead and inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the knees into that 90-degree position. So the hips are 90 degrees. And then the soles of the feet reach up towards the ceiling. You press the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. You draw the toes back. And then you give a squeeze into that block. Good. And it's okay if there's some shaking in the legs right now. Good. One more breath here. And then go ahead and slowly release down to the ground. You can put the block next to you. Good. And then we're going to do one more move in this laying position. So you'll take your belt again. You bring both knees towards the chest. The belt goes around the bottoms of the soles of both feet this time. Good. Soles of the feet reach towards the ceiling. And the engagement level here is, it's about a, I don't know, 3 as you're pressing the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. So it's just enough that you're holding the legs there yourself. It's not the belt holding them. The belt is here in this case to provide some resistance. So what you're going to do is switch hands with the belt. So you'll take your left hand and grab the right side of the belt, and then the right hand's going to grab the left side of the belt, so that you're making a bit of a crossover with the belt. Great. Then what you can do is create the action like you're trying to pull the legs apart. Start gently with this. A little goes a long way here. So it's like you're trying to pull the legs apart, but the belt doesn't let them go. And what you may feel in doing this is some engagement on the outside of the hips, outside of the upper legs, and maybe all the way down. You may feel things in other places as well, but the kind of primary engagement we're aiming for is around the outside of the legs. Good. Keep breathing here. And then go ahead and release. Let the knees bend, feet can come all the way to the ground. Notice how you're feeling, how the legs are feeling. So you're waking up all around the leg. As we've done the front of the leg, the inside of the leg, the outside of the leg. We can do that one more time. Knees come towards chest, feet pressing towards the ceiling, and then the action of trying to separate the feet, pulling them apart. And all these actions we can do in the rest of our postures today. So I want you to have a chance to feel them here when it's kind of the only thing going on, and to wake up all the muscles. Good. And then go ahead and release all the way down to the ground. Good. And I said that was the last one, but there's actually one more. I forgot about the other one that I was going to do. So your right foot reaches towards the ceiling. You bring the hands behind the upper thigh, and then begin to create the action like you're trying to bring the heel towards the ground. But it can't because it's being resisted by your hands. Good. So firing the muscles in the back side of the leg here. And the foot and the toes are still doing the same thing they've been doing in all the other ones. So the toes are pointing towards your face. The sole of the foot is reaching towards the ceiling. Good, and then go ahead and release that and do the left side. Left foot comes up, hands around the upper thigh, muscle behind it, and then press into the hands pretty firmly. And so you're firing the hamstrings, the back of the legs. Good, and then release. Good, and then the belt can come to the side of the body. Go ahead and hug the knees to the chest and roll up, or in any other way that you want to roll up or come up. You're gonna come into a downward facing dog. So if you already know how to do that, go ahead and do that. If you've never done that before, a way that can be useful is to just come from being on all fours, tuck the toes under, press into the hands and the balls of the feet, allow the hips to rise into the air. The knees can be a little bit bent just for a moment, and then you might kind of adjust to see, maybe it feels like the arms need to go a little bit wider. Maybe it feels like we need to come a little bit further forward. For the moment, just kind of tuning into how things are feeling in your body. And if you're feeling cramped, like you're too like parts of your body are too close to each other, then go ahead and just feel free to adjust. We can come back at another point and spend more time technically on how to set up a downward facing dog. Right now, just go ahead and listen to your body and kind of trust how things are feeling there. Good. Take a breath here, pedal the legs so the heels can kind of come up and move towards the ground. And then walk the feet forward towards the hands. Let the head hang loose for just a moment, folded. The knees can be bent. Maybe you shake the head no gently, and maybe you nod the head yes gently. And then go ahead and come all the way up. Now we're gonna spend a bit of time here and we're just gonna get moving. So I'm gonna talk a bit less. It's gonna be less technical, and we're just gonna start moving in our bodies. So So you're standing feet or hip distance apart, hip width apart. Go ahead, and if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes here. Be aware of the breath. And then we'll start with Ujjayi breathing. If you're familiar with that, you can already do it. If not, it's quite similar to fogging a mirror. So what you can do is you'll take a breath in, and then as you exhale, you make the sound like you're fogging a mirror. When you first do this, you can just have your mouth open as you're learning it. When you inhale, you're going to make the same sound. So it's like your reverse. You're breathing in, but the engagement is still there from when you're fogging the mirror. So try that a couple times yourself. Inhaling and exhaling. If you start to feel like you have a hang of that, you can just close the mouth and keep the same engagement so that you're making a gentle sound with each in and with each out breath. Go ahead and do that for just a couple times. And everybody can just check in and see like how loud is that sound. It doesn't need to be heard by somebody across the room. It really only needs to be barely heard by you. So explore if you can subtly release any extra tensions in the throat, in the neck, in the jaw, and still keep that sound. Great. With the next inhale, go ahead and sweep the arms up overhead, reach through the fingertips. With the exhale, bend the knees slightly, hinge from the hips, come all the way down. The hands can go to knees, shins, all the way to the ground, whatever your body allows. When you inhale, you come halfway up using the strength of the back. So the spine stays straight, crown of the head reaching forward, and then you exhale and you fold. Then when you inhale, you come all the way back up, pressing the feet into the ground. Arms reach overhead. Hands meet in the middle, come before the heart. Good, and you pause for just a second. Remember what we were doing on the ground? Go ahead and engage the feet. Just one time here. So you lift the toes up. Notice the engagement in the bottom of the foot. Press the feet into the ground, just like when you were pressing into the belt. And then keep all of that, but allow the toes to come down to the ground. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge from the hips, all the way down. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come all the way up, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, you're going to fold again. Knees slightly bent, hinge from the hips. You inhale, coming halfway up. And then you exhale, folding. And then inhale all the way up, reach through the fingertips, maybe look up. Stretching the front line of the body, exhale and fold all the way down. Good. One more time. Inhale halfway up, exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, reach through the fingertips, open the front of the body, looking up, and then exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, come halfway up. Then exhale, fold. The hands come down to the ground. The right foot steps back into a lunge position. Take a moment here. Inhale. Press the feet into the ground. Look forward. As you exhale, step the left foot next to the right for high plank. Inhale here. And then exhale, bring the knees to the ground, then the hips, then come all the way down. Inhale, rise up into cobra. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Inhale here, resist the ground, engagement in the legs. And then exhale, the right knee comes to the chest, and then the right foot to the right thumb. Press both feet into the ground. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step the left foot next to the right. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale and fold. You're going to inhale, rise all the way up. Reach through the fingertips. Look up. Open the front of the body. Exhale, fold. All the way back down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, the left foot steps back into a high lunge. Both feet press into the ground. Look forward as you inhale. As you exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale here, resist the ground. Exhale, knees, then hips, then chest, all the way down. As you inhale, come up for cobra, but allow the hands to leave the ground. So it's just the muscles of the back. As you exhale, come all the way down. We'll do that one more time. When you inhale, press the tops of the feet into the ground, open the chest as the torso rises from the ground. Exhale, hands down, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Then inhale here. Exhale the left knee to the chest, left foot to the left thumb. Look forward as you press the feet into the ground. Step forward with the right foot next to the left. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up. Reach through the fingertips. And then hands meet in the middle. You draw the palms down through the center line of the body in front of the heart. Take just a moment here to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Recover the breath. And then we're going to keep going. So you inhale and the arms sweep all the way up. Look up at the fingertips. Exhale, hinge from the waist. Knees slightly bent. Inhale, come halfway up. Go ahead and keep the hands off the ground. You keep them in prayer position. As you exhale, you're going to step the right foot back into a high lunge. But take a moment to press the feet into the ground. Inhale, look forward, but then come all the way up so that the fingertips start to reach into the sky. Good. Stay here for just a moment as you exhale. Feet are firmly engaged, just like they were into the belt. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to hinge down. Both palms come to the ground. You step back into high plank. Resist the ground. Inhale. Exhale, lower down, knees, hips, chest, all the way down to the ground. Fingertips reach back towards the feet as you inhale, coming up for locust. So the feet and the chest lift off of the ground. Exhale, come all the way down. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, locust. And then exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Lovely. One inhale here, down dog. Exhale, the right knee comes to the chest, right foot to the right thumb. Hands in prayer, press the feet into the ground. Inhale, come all the way up. Fingertips reaching into the sky. Exhale, palms come down towards the mat. Actually, they can come in a prayer position. Step the left foot next to the right. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise all the way up. Look at the fingertips, reach through, open the front of the body. And then exhale to fold all the way back down. Good. You inhale, you come halfway up. The hands are still in prayer position. The left foot reaches back into a high lunge. Make sure the feet are firm, solid. Inhale and reach the fingertips into the air. Good. And then as you exhale, the hands come down to the mat. Right foot steps back next to the left. High plank. You can lower all the way down with the exhale. I'm going to do locust again. So as you inhale, you reach the fingertips back towards the feet. You point the toes. Everything comes up off of the ground. Stay here for one inhale, one exhale, another inhale, and another exhale. And let everything come down to the ground. Pause for just one moment. Notice how the body's feeling. Notice how the heart's beating, how the breath is. Take an inhale here, and then exhale into downward facing dog. Good. One inhale here, one exhale here. One more inhale here. On the exhale, it's the left knee that comes to the chest and the left foot towards the left thumb. Hands in prayer position, look forward. And then as you inhale, reach the fingertips up into the sky. And then back down with the exhale, step the right foot next to the left. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale and fold. Then inhale, rise all the way up. Reach through the fingertips. Hands in front of the heart. Pause. The pace of the breath, the ujjayi breathing, and the engagement in the feet. Find these three things. Pace of the breath, ujjayi breathing, and the engagement in the feet. Good. Now we're going to go into that. We're going to add some things now. So you inhale, the arms sweep forward and up. Reach through the fingertips, look up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, step back into a lunge position. You're going to drop the side of the right foot towards the mat. So the foot turns so the toes are facing the long side of the mat. Take a moment here. So the hands are on the ground. One foot's pointing forward, one foot's pointing towards the long side of the mat. Move the left hand in the inside of the left foot. And then reach the right arm up towards the sky. Inhale here. Exhale here. As you inhale, press into both feet. Lift up into warrior two. So I'm going to switch sides for a second so that you can see me. So your knee is directly over your ankle. You're pressing into both feet. And then the fingertips are reaching wide towards the sides of the room. And you're breathing. The crown of the head is lengthening into the sky. And then you return to the feet with your attention. Notice if they feel like they were when they were pressing into the belt. You could lift the toes, engage the feet, press them into the ground, and then keep all of that, but drop the toes to the ground. Good. When you inhale, we're going to go into reverse warrior. So you lift the arm up, look up towards the arm, open the side of the body. As you exhale, bring the elbow to the bent knee. Now you're not going to hang into it, but you're going to allow it to be firm. You're pressing against the leg is pressing, or the foot is pressing against the floor, elbow is pressing against the upper leg. Good. Keep breathing here. Bring the other hand to the hip. Nice. And then you can explore reaching that hand off of the hip into the sky, and then as if you were reaching the arm overhead. So if you were standing, it would just be an arm reaching overhead. But because you're in this shape, it's kind of pointing diagonally in the room. And then you keep breathing here. Feet are on the ground, engaged just like they were with the belt. Good. On your next exhale, bring that arm down. The extended arm comes down to the ground. So it's kind of back to where we started. The left hand comes to the inside of the foot. You turn the back foot up, so you're back in that high lunge position. And then you inhale, you come up into a high lunge. Good. And then you exhale, you come down to the ground, you step back into a high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, hips, chest, all the way to the ground. Inhale for cobra, hands come free from the ground. So we're using muscular engagement instead of trying to get into a really high cobra. You exhale, you come back into downward facing dog. Good. Now we're going to do the other side. So recover your breath. Make sure you still have Ujjayi breathing. Engaged feet. Good. This time, as you exhale, the right knee comes to the chest, the right foot towards the right. You're prepared for a lunge. The left foot turns down to the mat, so that now the toes are pointing towards the long side of the mat. And then I'm going to switch sides. So your toes are still pointing to the long side of the mat, or the back foot toes. The right hand is on the inside of the bent knee. Good. And then you open the left arm up towards the sky. Lovely. Now, if you find that this is too, like if the right hand can't be on the ground, that's fine. You can use a block. So it's easy to just take a block, put it on the inside of the foot, and then you can rest the hand there. And that can be a block on the long side, so it's high, so a bit higher up, or it can be lower. So if you feel like that might be more comfortable or more useful in your body, so it's not causing pain. Comfort's not bad, right? We're looking to not cause pain. So you know you're working here. You feel that there's work happening in the muscles. That's fine. But if it's causing pain, that's not going to do you any good. So then you inhale and you come all the way up. So you keep the arms wide as you're coming up. The palms face the ground, and now you're in warrior two. Good. Take a moment to notice the feet. Just like when they're pressing into the belt, the feet are engaged. The right knee is directly over the ankle. Fingertips are reaching towards the sides of the room, at least in my case. I don't know how they are in your room. And as you inhale, the right arm is going to reach up towards the sky. This is reverse warrior now. Good. Look up towards the right palm. As you exhale, the right elbow comes towards the right knee. Again, you're not hanging here. You're pressing firmly, foot into ground, elbow into upper leg. Perfect. Take a moment here. The left hand comes onto the left hip. And breathe. Simple Ujjayi breathing. Feet are engaged. And then the arm reaches up to the sky and then overhead. And if it's comfortable in your neck, you can look towards the fingertips. Good. The back foot is pressing into the ground firmly still. So it's like there's a line of energy running from the outside of the back foot all the way through the fingertips. See if with your attention you can feel, if you can notice the entire length of the body. Left fingertips to left heel and toes. Also right toes up through the torso, the crown of the head. So you're aware of the whole body in this shape. And then on your next exhale, you bring the left hand down towards the ground. Both hands to the ground. Turn the back foot up. Ready for a lunge. When you inhale, you come up into that lunge. Good. Reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, the hands come down to the ground. Step forward. Inhale, come halfway up. And then exhale to fold. When you inhale, you come all the way up, reach through the fingertips. Palms meet in the center. palms in front of the heart. Take a moment to recover. Breath, ujjayi, engaged feet. Good. Your next inhale, the arms sweep up, reach to the fingertips. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. You're going to inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, just fold. Inhale all the way up again. Look at the fingertips. Exhale, hinge all the way down. Good. You inhale, you come halfway up. And then you exhale, you step the right foot back as if coming into a high lunge. Inhale, look forward, come up into a high lunge. Hold this as you exhale. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the back knee. So slowly and very controlled, you bend the back knee all the way down, potentially until it touches the ground. And then when you inhale, you come back up. And we're going to do that a couple of times. So you inhale, you reach to the fingertips, maybe you look up. You exhale, you bend the back knee, come all the way down, slowly, slowly, slowly. And you inhale, you come back up. It's like the breath just floats you back up. One more time. Exhale, follow the breath down towards the ground. So slowly. Inhale all the way up. Lovely. And then when you exhale, you maintain the length through the fingertips. Bring the fingertips forward, 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 until they're parallel with the ground. And then what you can do from here is slowly come up onto the ball of the foot, the back foot, onto the tiptoes, and then shift forward until you're in warrior three. I have a bit of a wall right in front of me here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna reach my hands back. You can reach your hands forward, back, out to the side, whatever you want. That back foot, the right foot, is pressing as if it were pressing into that belt. The toes are pulling back towards you. Good. The foot that's on the ground is doing the same thing. One more breath here. Now on your next inhale, slowly begin to come upwards towards standing. Very controlled. That right foot doesn't need to touch the ground. You bend the right knee. Bring it towards your chest. You can hold it in a hand. I'm going to move back so you can see me. Good. Recover your breath here. And then allow the hands to come to the hips. So now it's the muscles of the leg that are holding the leg up. And then you reach the sole of the foot out in front of you, as if you were holding a belt. You could even, if you want, pretend that you have a belt in your hand. Push that foot. Draw the toes towards you. Do the same thing with the standing foot. I know that's hard. Same thing with the standing foot. Press into the ground. The crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Good. Spine of the leg shaking. Allow the knee to bend. Foot comes down to the ground. Oh yeah, I'm not looking forward to doing the other side. I don't know about you. Take a moment here. Check in with the body. Hands can be on the hips, hands can be in prayer. Find the breath, ujjayi breathing. Allow the feet to relax. The feet are relaxed. Inhale, sweep the hands forward, up, look up at the fingertips. And then playfully explore just rising up onto the toes, the balls of the feet, and then come back down. Do that one more time. Inhale, balls of the feet, and back down. Hands in front of the heart. Right. Inhale, you reach through the fingertips. Exhale, you fold from the hips all the way down. Inhale, you come halfway up. Exhale, it's the left foot that's going to step back this time for a lunge. When you inhale, you come all the way up. Reach through the fingertips. So you exhale, remember this, we're going to come slowly, slowly, slowly towards the ground. So that back knee bends. If there's no pain, it briefly touches the ground, and then you inhale and it comes back up. Good. Only come down. We're going to keep doing that. So you just keep coming down with your breath as you exhale, and then back up with the inhale. You only come down as far as you can without pain. So if there's pain, that's an edge of the body. That's the body talking to you. You just stop in advance of that edge. That's part of the practice of yoga. The practice of yoga is not about getting as far as you possibly can into a posture. The practice of yoga is about listening to the body and responding to it wisely. If you're pressing into pain, it's probably not a wise response. Good. One more time, inhale all the way up. And as you exhale the hands, you reach through the fingertips. Forward, 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 until the torso and the hands and the arms are parallel with the ground. From here, you lift onto the toes, the tip toes, and the back foot. So that the weight is shifting forward. So that it goes from the ball of the foot forward. And then that back foot lifts from the ground. You're in warrior three. Good. Hands can reach forward or they can reach back. You're looking at the ground. And now be aware of the foot that's in contact with the ground. And notice if it's like it was when it was with the belt, or if it feels a bit different. And explore, if you can, pressing like you were when you were at the belt. You could even explore lifting the toes from the ground. When I did that, I lost my balance. That's part of yoga too. Good. Feel that foot is extended in the air. It's pressing back, just like it goes into a belt. On your next inhale, you slowly begin to come forward to standing. That foot doesn't need to touch the ground, but it might if you lose your balance like I just did. When the knee comes up, you clasp the knee. Good. Now, as I'm noticing in my body, you may notice that your balance is different on one side versus the other. That's okay. Take a moment here to breathe. And then when you're ready, when you regain enough stability in breath and body, then you can explore extending the leg outward. And if you need to, between that, you could have allowed both feet to be on the ground. You could still do that. It's your choice anytime. And now, as if you had a belt, reach the hands forward, pull, push into that, pull the hands and push the foot as if it was pushing the belt. Toes come back towards you. Good. Then you do the same with the standing foot. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Lengthen the spine. And then slowly bring that foot down. Breathe a big sigh of relief. Yeah. That wasn't fun, was it? I didn't think so. Now, go ahead and shake the legs out for just a minute. That was a lot of work. So you just shake each leg. Shake each leg. Take a moment to bring the hands in front of the heart. A little thank you that we're done with that. Go ahead and take a breath in. Have breath out. Ujjayi breathing. Notice the heart rate. Good. The next time that you inhale, go ahead and reach the hands all the way up. As you exhale this time, bend the knees and sink down into a squat. If that doesn't work for your knees, you can always come down into a squat in any other way. So you're in a squat. The outside of the upper arms is pressing in the inside of the leg. Turn to face you. Outside of the upper arms is pressing into the inside of the upper leg. Hands are in prayer. If this works in your body. Now, my feet come flat to the ground. For many people, you will be up on your toes. That's fine. So, you're here. Now, instead of pressing the arms out so the hands come apart, allow the palms of the hands to be in contact with each other. And then press the inside of the knee into the elbows. So squeeze the arms. Good. Inhale here. The crown of the head reaches up. So the back is long, so you're not hunched over. Good. If for whatever reason this isn't working for you in your body, you could, for example, take blocks, put them on the ground, the arms are straight, and then you just explore, so the arms might not be straight. So you just put the hands down and then in some way explore squeezing the elbows. So it doesn't have to look exactly like mine does, but in some way you're playing with squeezing the knees against the elbows. Good. And then go ahead and release that, sink all the way down to the ground. Allow the legs to come into a wide seated position. You may find that it's useful to sit on a block or on a folded blanket. And in useful, that could be because it's uncomfortable otherwise. It could also be because you notice that you're hunched over without it. So then sitting up on it can allow you to sit a bit taller. Legs are spread wide. Good. Grab that belt. Bring it around the outside of the foot, just like when you were laying down. Hold it in the hand. Look at the foot. And what you're going to do, so let the belt be slack. You're facing forward. The belt is slack. The crown of the head reaches towards the sky. You use the muscles in the torso to turn to look at the foot. So you're not pulling with the belt. Good. Then you pull the belt taut. And then you press through that foot. Toes come towards the face. Foot and leg are engaged. See if you can do that same action without the belt on the other side. Great. Stay your breathing. And then release. Go ahead and release the belt. Bring it around the outside of the other foot. Face forward, belt slack. Brilliant. Now take a breath in, reach to the crown of the head. Use the muscles of the torso to turn and face the left foot. Brilliant. And now that you're there, pull the belt taut and engage that foot and that leg. And once that leg is engaged and you feel that engagement, then explore doing that on the other side. Good. Stay here. And then release. Now, just take a second and allow your hand to be on your upper leg, maybe even just around your whole leg, if that's whatever extent that's possible for you. Make that same action you were just making with the belt, but without the belt, and feel what happens in the muscles of the leg. And then release. And then bring the hand, if that works in your body, down to the lower leg and do the same thing. Good. So you can feel what's happening with your muscles when you do that. One more time on the upper leg. Very nice. Good. Do that on the other side. You can just explore it without the belt. You engage that whole leg, and you notice what happens on the upper leg. And you release. And you engage the leg, and you notice what happens on the lower leg. And release. Great. Now, if you're on a block or blanket, you might want to remove it. Allow the knees to bend. We're moving towards the end here. The legs are going to be open wide, feet are on the ground. Come over to one side. I'm coming over to my right side. Have a look at the legs, assuming this is working in your hips. Have a look at the legs and adjust so that the leg and the front is kind of in a 90-degree angle. At least the knee is a 90-degree angle. The leg in the back is also in a 90-degree angle. So you might need to just push that knee back a little bit. Now, if this exact 90-90 isn't working in your body, that's okay. You can adjust and see what is working without pain. Take a moment, and just like we did with the belt, you're going to use the muscles in the torso to turn and look at that front knee. The crown of the head is reaching into the sky. The muscles of the torso are engaged, and the muscles in the legs and hips are engaged to hold you upright. Good. If you can avoid it, avoid having the hands on the ground. At least avoid having them carrying your weight. If you need them, because these legs are not capable yet of holding you up, then absolutely put your hands on the ground. Stay here for just a moment. Inhale. And then if you'd like to explore it, you can explore bringing the hands into prayer position and slowly hinging forward over that front leg. Not coming all the way down to the ground. And then coming back up. Good. And then you're going to switch to the other side. Brilliant. So you switch to the other side. Again, you take a moment. First of all, this side might be very different than the other side. It is in my body. Second, you want to check and make sure the knee is in a 90-degree angle, and then the back knee 90-degree angle. Take a moment again. At first, what you might notice is that when you're just coming upright, your torso is probably looking off towards maybe the sole of the foot. Now use those muscles in the torso, reach the crown of the head up towards the sky, and then turn to look at this knee and then beyond. The hands can be on the ground or they can be in prayer position, but the goal is to use the strength of the legs to hold you up and then hinge forward. Now there's a lot going on, but notice if you have your Ujjayi breath. One of the goals in this practice and the way that Vinyasa yoga works is that we try and keep that steady rhythm of Ujjayi breathing through the duration of the practice. Go ahead and come back up. Shift back to center. We're going to do one more time on each side. So you come over to the other side. You check the knees to see if they're at this 90-90. If they are, you can bring the hands to prayer if that's working for you. And then you twist the torso to look over the knee and you come forward. Good. Press the leg, the knee, the outside of the foot into the ground and engage that foot, both feet really, the way they were with the belt. The difference now is that the leg is bent and it's in a new shape, but you can still kind of have that engagement in the foot. Good. Inhale, come back up. Come to center. And then over other side. Check the 90-90. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Look over the knee. Engage both feet. And then slowly come forward. Now, this is not an easy shape for most people, or at least the muscular engagement in this shape is not easy for most people. So if that's you, that's okay. But it's really good for strengthening the legs. Go and come back up. And come back to center. We'll let the legs come out. And if you want, lean back into the hands for just a second. You might even feel like it's useful to kind of bounce the legs out. We're going to come down to the ground. You're wrapping up. So you're down on the ground. kind of like where we started. The knees are bent. And for just a moment, you can lay here and you can breathe. And you don't even need your giant breath. So it's kind of like for just a moment, you're coming full circle and noticing what it's like now in your body and your mind. And if you found any of the things that we were doing difficult, you might notice that there's particular reactions that come up in your mind, in your thoughts. And sometimes those reactions aren't the kindest of reactions. So then it's like an inner yelling, like you should be able to do better, or some drive to get further into something, or some urge to push, push, push to achieve what exactly. Now, that's not yoga. Discipline is a part of yoga. Drive is part of yoga, but the root ethical principle in yoga, the way that I see it, is nonviolence towards self and others. So you can try and achieve, but if that's causing violence to you, to your body, then it's not in line with the yoga principles of action and relating to ourselves and to others. So if you can, just enjoy for a moment, releasing into laying. We are going to do a couple more shapes. At least that's the invitation. But if you're like, I'm done, you can stay here. That's fine. There's not going to be an award ceremony for the person who went to the next two shapes. But if you think in your body, like, yeah, this feels good, then come on and follow with me for a minute. So just like at the beginning, the heels are touching the fingertips. And then if needed, if there's discomfort, adjust a little. Great. Go ahead and become aware of the inhale and the exhale. And on the inhale, allow the belly to fill and the lower back gently, slightly arches. On the exhale, the lower back presses into the ground. Good. Again, inhale, there's a gentle arch. Exhale, lower back presses into the ground. And then hold it there as you inhale. On the next exhale, add the feet. So press both feet firmly into the ground as if they were pressing into that belt again. Good. Keep this as you breathe. Great. Notice if there's anywhere else in the body that can relax, like maybe the shoulders, the jaw, something else that's gotten really tense. And then release everything. And we'll do that one more time. So you inhale, the belly or the lower back arches just a little bit. You exhale, lower back presses into the ground. You inhale again, staying here. And then you exhale, pressing into the feet. Good. Inhale here. And now what's going to happen on your next inhale, I invite you to allow the hips to raise from the ground by pressing into the feet. So you're pressing more strongly into the feet. Everything else kind of stays the same. Now, the end sort of range of motion here is not to get into like a semicircle shape, but that there's a straight line between the knees and kind of the shoulders. You can stay here, bring the arms under the body. You can clasp the hands if you'd like, and tuck the shoulders a little bit under the body. Good. Now press with the upper arms and the lower arms and the hands and the feet. Press everything that's touching the ground into the ground, except for your head. Allow the neck to be relaxed. Good. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and come all the way down to the ground. Now, if you normally do Urdhva the wheel pose, you're welcome to do that now. If you don't, I'm not going to teach it right now, but I am going to show it. If you don't normally do that, feel free to just do what we just did one more time. So for just about 30 seconds here, either you're doing the bridge that we just did, or you do Urdhva Dhanurasana. Whichever one you're in, allow the head, the neck to be relaxed. The feet are pressing into the ground. The arms are pressing into the ground. And you're breathing. And then you come all the way back down. Good. Allow the feet to be slightly wider, kind of the width of the mat, the knees fall together. Lovely. This is a moment, if you like, to have your blanket, that you could just cover up with your blanket. Lovely. Good. So we're just going to take a couple minutes to release. So all that engagement we've been doing, we're now going to let that go. And then maybe you've covered up. And so you're going to think, why did I let you cover up? And then ask you to come into another shape. But that's okay. You'll stay warm and you can adjust the blanket. What I'd like to invite you to do is to allow the arms to be a little bit wider. They come out almost like you're in Warrior 2 again, but without any extra engagement. So they're just resting on the ground. And then you draw the knees gently towards 90 degrees. So the hips are at 90 degrees. And then you just gently allow the knees to drop over towards the ground. So it's a gentle open twist. If when you drop the knees down to the ground, there's pain in the outer hip, then please put a block or a pillow or something under that knee. Or just allow the legs to separate so the knees don't have to stay together. Okay, so that's fine. The priority here is actually just that there's some kind of gentle twisting happening and no pain. And you're breathing. 0 engagement. 0 special way of breathing. You can already allow the attention to travel with the breath from the head of the body down towards the toes. As if the attention were a gentle wave that travels through the body with each breath. And then when you're ready, you can allow, we're going to switch sides. So the knees come back up. You might take a second to recenter. And then you just gently allow the knees to fall over to the side. Now this side, I have a little bit of pain in my outer hip. So what I'm going to do is just let my knees be separate. So one foot's actually kind of on the ground. The other leg's open. The other thing you can do if this is really uncomfortable for you is to come all the way to the side. So all the way to the side, hips are stacked, and then explore opening that upper arm out to the side. And in many bodies, and in my body, that reduces the stress on this outer hip, moves the location of the twist a bit further up the spine. And now actually I feel a really nice twist to my kind of mid torso and no pulling or tension in the hips. And then again, just breathing, allowing the attention to travel with each exhale from the crown of the head down to the feet. the difference between engagement in a nonviolent way and releasing also in a nonviolent way. It helps in both cases. We cultivate a more awareness, greater awareness of our body, and also a kind way of interacting with what's happening in the body. Because that's actually the practice of yoga, not getting into these deep shapes or showing off to our friends on Instagram. Go ahead and come back to center. Stretch everything out. The hands can be alongside the body or even overhead. First, I take a couple breaths here. Complete releasing. Because after engagement, we always need rest, we need balance. That's how the body restores. Good. Now you're welcome to stay here for as long as you'd like. Or if you're ready to be done, then you can find your way up into a sitting position. Slowly, you don't have to rush. There's no need to rush this. Take a moment when you're upright to just recognize that shift. Again, in yoga, there's a chance to recognize. So we're bringing our awareness into the present moment, and there's a chance to recognize what's happening in this moment, which is a transition, which we're often missing. So just take a moment to be aware of this transition. You might bring your hands in front of the heart. It can be a nice moment to offer a little bit of gratitude, a kind word to yourself. It could just be a thank you. You could thank your body for whatever it was able to do and allowed you to do today. You could thank your mind for being present in this, for anything else that you might be grateful for. And then you can extend that same kindness, that same gratitude out into the world. Perhaps calling to mind the face of a loved one, somebody you're grateful for, or maybe just a general sense of everybody who is in the world right now, and just extending a moment of recognizing their humanity and extending kindness to them. And in this way, we begin a little bridge from what happens on the mat to what happens as we leave the mat. And that's the play between yoga. We practice things on the mat and then they extend into the world. And what we practice in the world shows up on the mat. Good. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to the next time.